Ladies and gentlemen, let me begin with a truth that hits harder than most are ready to hear. The difference between a man who thrives in his health, his confidence, and his relationships, and a man who struggles in silence often comes down to knowledge he was never taught. Most men spend their lives chasing validation, chasing success, chasing intimacy, but they neglect the very foundation of it all, their health. And I'm not just talking about six-pack abs or gym hours. I'm talking about urology, sexual health, and general wellness, the core of your vitality, your energy, and your ability to fully show up in life. Here sits the reality. If you ignore your urological health, you risk problems that can rob you of confidence, strength, and intimacy. If you neglect your sexual health, you lose not just passion, but the deep connection that makes relationships thrive. If you dismiss your overall wellness, everything else, your drive, your career, your relationships, will eventually collapse. The truth is, women notice. They can tell when a man takes care of himself. They can sense when he has energy, discipline, and vitality. And yes, a woman telling you she wants you isn't about luck or some mysterious game. It's about the health, presence, and power you carry into every room you walk into. Think about it. How many men are silently struggling with fatigue, low testosterone, performance anxiety, or preventable health issues while pretending everything is fine? That's the 99%, the majority, but the 1%. They are the ones who educate themselves, take ownership of their health, and build a body, mind, and spirit that command respect, desire, and longevity. Gentlemen, this isn't about vanity. This is about your future, your family, your legacy. Because when you prioritize urology, sexual health, and wellness, you are not just taking care of yourself, you are creating the version of you that can lead, protect, and inspire. So here is my call to you. Stop being passive. Stop waiting until it's too late. Start investing in your health today. Schedule the checkups you've been avoiding. Learn about your body. Build habits that fuel your vitality. Take action not tomorrow, not next week, but now. Because when you choose health, confidence, and discipline, you don't just join the 1%. You become the man every woman knows she wants. When it comes to sexual health, confidence, and performance, everything begins with blood flow. Most men don't realize that an erection is not about magic, hormones alone, or some mysterious chemistry. It is a physical event powered by circulation. The arteries in your body, particularly the ones leading to the penis, must be able to carry oxygen-rich blood smoothly and efficiently. If they're clogged, inflamed, or weakened, your performance will suffer no matter how young, attractive, or motivated you feel. That's why urologists often say the penis is like a barometer of your vascular health. When blood flow is compromised, the first signs often appear in your sex life long before you experience more serious health problems like heart disease or stroke. Think about this for a second. The penile arteries are much smaller than the coronary arteries in your heart. That means if your lifestyle is damaging your circulation, the smaller vessels will show the impact first. So erectile dysfunction is not just about sex. It's a warning signal from your body telling you something deeper is wrong. Poor blood flow might be linked to high cholesterol, high blood pressure, diabetes, or even chronic stress. Every time your arteries tighten, stiffen, or get blocked, you reduce the ability of your body to push blood where it needs to go. And when blood doesn't flow into the penis properly, you don't just lose strength in your erection, you lose stamina, confidence, and sometimes even the desire itself. Men often chase quick fixes like pills, supplements, or performance enhancers, but without healthy circulation, those are only temporary bandages. The real work comes from repairing the system that powers your body from the inside out. Blood flow is supported by daily choices: what you eat, how you move, how you breathe, and even how you sleep. If your diet is heavy in processed foods, excess sugar, or saturated fats, you're essentially coating your arteries with sludge that slows circulation. Smoking, alcohol, and lack of exercise further damage the delicate endothelial lining of your blood vessels, preventing them from expanding the way they should when arousal kicks in. And if you think this doesn't matter in your 20s or 30s, you're wrong. Damage accumulates over years, and the cracks start showing in your sex life first. The good news is that blood flow can be improved and optimized at any age, and the body is more resilient than most men believe. A diet rich in leafy greens, berries, healthy fats, and lean protein supports nitric oxide production, the chemical that relaxes your blood vessels and allows them to open wide. Regular cardiovascular exercise like running, cycling, or even brisk walking strengthens the heart and keeps the vascular system flexible. Strength training builds testosterone, which indirectly supports vascular health. Even simple practices like deep breathing, reducing stress, and prioritizing 7 to 8 hours of sleep enhance circulation. The man who takes these steps isn't just protecting his heart or his longevity, he's building the foundation for reliable, powerful, and satisfying sexual performance. Testosterone is the silent engine behind a man's vitality, energy, and sexual confidence. Most men only think of it as the hormone of masculinity, but the truth is far deeper. It influences your mood, your drive, your ability to focus, your recovery after exercise, and your desire for intimacy. When testosterone is at a healthy level, you wake up energized, your mind is sharp, and your body feels strong. But when it dips too low, men experience fatigue, irritability, loss of motivation, and a noticeable decline in their sex drive. In fact, many men who think they're simply getting older are really suffering from a hormonal imbalance that could be corrected. Testosterone is not about being aggressive or macho, it is about balance, strength, and vitality that touches every aspect of your life. What many don't realize is that low testosterone doesn't just steal desire, it can also affect performance in the bedroom. Erections become weaker, recovery takes longer, and the intensity of climax feels dulled. This isn't because of lack of attraction or lack of love, but because the body's hormonal system is struggling to support natural arousal. Testosterone directly impacts nitric oxide, the very molecule that relaxes blood vessels to allow erections to happen. Without enough of it, the body struggles to respond, leaving men frustrated and anxious. The sad part is that most men don't recognize the signs until they're severe, brushing off symptoms as stress or normal aging. What feels like a mental block is often rooted in a physiological imbalance, and the solution lies in restoring hormonal health. The lifestyle of the modern man often works against testosterone rather than for it. Chronic stress floods the body with cortisol, a hormone that directly suppresses testosterone production. Poor sleep disrupts the body's natural rhythm of hormone release, meaning your levels never fully recharge. A diet heavy in processed foods, alcohol, or sugar throws your endocrine system into chaos, lowering testosterone further. Add to this the sedentary lifestyle. Many men fall into long hours sitting, little exercise, minimal sunlight, and you have the perfect recipe for hormonal decline. These aren't isolated habits. They compound over time, slowly draining energy, passion, and confidence without a man even realizing the cause. By the time he notices the impact on his sex life, the problem has often been brewing for years. The body, however, responds powerfully to change when given the right signals. Strength training is one of the most potent natural boosters of testosterone, particularly heavy compound lifts like squats, deadlifts, and bench presses. These exercises send a message to your body that it needs more hormonal power to sustain growth and performance. Quality sleep, especially deep REM cycles, allows testosterone to be replenished overnight. Exposure to sunlight fuels vitamin D production, which is directly linked to hormone balance. Even practices like intermittent fasting or reducing excess body fat help reset the endocrine system, giving testosterone room to rise naturally. With the right lifestyle, men can reignite their drive, reclaim their energy, and restore the passion that makes them feel fully alive. Most men don't realize that the pelvic floor is one of the most important muscle groups for sexual health and performance. It's not just about women doing Kegels after childbirth. Men have pelvic floor muscles too, and they play a direct role in erections, ejaculation control, and stamina. These muscles act like a hammock, holding and supporting organs such as the bladder, prostate, and rectum. When they're strong, blood is trapped more efficiently in the penis, giving firmer, longer-lasting erections. When they're weak, men may experience leaks of urine, premature ejaculation, or weaker sexual function. The pelvic floor is literally the hidden engine room of sexual power, yet it's the one area most men never train. They'll spend hours in the gym working on their biceps and chest, but they completely ignore the muscles that matter most in the bedroom. Training the pelvic floor can give men a level of control and endurance they never thought possible. These muscles are directly involved in arousal and ejaculation, meaning when you strengthen them, you're not only enhancing firmness, but also gaining mastery over timing. Premature ejaculation, which frustrates so many men and partners, often has more to do with lack of muscle control than mental weakness. By building strength and awareness in the pelvic floor, you can literally train your body to delay orgasm and extend pleasure for both yourself and your partner. This is the difference between feeling out of control during sex and being the man who can confidently decide when he wants to finish. Few men ever connect the dots, but those who do discover a completely new dimension of intimacy. The pelvic floor also plays a role in overall urinary and prostate health, which are deeply linked to sexual vitality. As men age, issues like an enlarged prostate or urinary leakage become more common, and one of the strongest defenses is keeping the pelvic muscles active and responsive. A neglected pelvic floor leads to weakness, which can make these problems worse. On the other hand, men who regularly engage in pelvic floor training often report stronger urinary control, reduced pressure from prostate issues, and even less back pain because of the stabilizing effect these muscles provide. It's not just about sex, it's about reclaiming core strength and function in a way that supports confidence in daily life. Men who strengthen this area often feel an increased sense of vitality that radiates outside the bedroom too. Training these muscles isn't complicated, but it requires consistency and awareness. The classic move is the Kegel, contracting the same muscles you'd use to stop the flow of urine midstream, holding the contraction and releasing. Over time, you can build sets and reps just like any other muscle group, gradually improving endurance and strength. More advanced techniques include reverse Kegels, breathing exercises, and even yoga poses that target the pelvic floor through flexibility and control. Pairing this with healthy lifestyle habits like maintaining a balanced weight, staying hydrated, and reducing pressure on the pelvic region creates a foundation for optimal performance. Men who take this seriously often describe it as unlocking a hidden power because once the pelvic floor is engaged, every aspect of sexual function feels sharper, stronger, and more satisfying. The mind is the most powerful sexual organ a man possesses, and yet it is also the one most overlooked. Erections, arousal, and stamina are all initiated in the brain before the body ever responds. When a man feels confident, present, and connected, his body follows with ease, but when the mind is clouded with anxiety, stress, or self-doubt, the physical response often breaks down. Performance anxiety is one of the most common challenges men face, and it has little to do with physical ability. It's about the brain sending signals of fear instead of desire, shutting down the natural flow of arousal. Sexual confidence isn't just a nice idea, it's the neurological trigger that allows the body to function at its peak. Stress is another silent killer of sexual performance, and it works on multiple levels. When cortisol, the stress hormone, floods the body, it interferes with testosterone production and blocks nitric oxide, the chemical needed for erections. Mentally, stress creates distraction and worry, making it nearly impossible to stay focused on pleasure. A man who carries his work problems, financial stress, or unresolved conflicts into the bedroom finds himself physically present but emotionally absent. That absence is felt immediately by a partner, creating a disconnect that weakens desire on both sides. Stress doesn't just live in the mind, it translates directly into the body, tightening muscles, restricting blood flow, and lowering sensitivity to touch. Porn addiction is another modern factor that has rewired the minds of many men in ways they don't even realize. Excessive exposure to artificial stimulation trains the brain to expect instant, high-intensity arousal from unrealistic images and scenarios. Over time, this dulls the brain's response to real intimacy, making it harder to get or maintain arousal with a partner. Men often think something is wrong with their body when in reality, it is the brain that has become desensitized. Rebuilding healthy sexual function often requires resetting the brain's pathways by reducing or eliminating dependence on porn and re-engaging with real-life connection, touch, and emotional intimacy. This process can feel uncomfortable at first, but it restores sensitivity, focus, and presence in ways no pill or supplement ever could. Confidence and mindfulness are powerful tools for rewiring the sexual mind. When a man learns to relax, breathe deeply, and focus on the sensations of the moment, his body naturally follows with stronger, more reliable responses. Mindful sex isn't about performance or ego, it's about being fully immersed in touch, connection, and the partner in front of you. Techniques such as meditation, breath work, and even visualization can retrain the mind to associate intimacy with calmness instead of pressure. Over time, this builds a sense of mastery that transforms the sexual experience. The man who controls his mind can control his body, extending pleasure, deepening connection, and bringing a level of confidence that makes every encounter unforgettable. Sex is often seen as an isolated act, but in reality, it is a direct reflection of your overall wellness. The body doesn't separate sexual function from general health. It all operates as one system. When a man is eating poorly, not sleeping enough, skipping exercise, or living under constant stress, the very first area that begins to show the cracks is his sex life. Erections become less reliable, desire begins to fade, and stamina feels weaker. Many men believe these problems are random or just part of aging, but the truth is that they are often warning signs of deeper health issues. Sexual performance is like a mirror, showing you how well your body is functioning as a whole, and ignoring it only allows the root problems to grow. Diet plays one of the biggest roles in this connection between wellness and sexual vitality. Heavy processed foods, excessive sugar, and too much alcohol cause inflammation, clog arteries, and destabilize hormones, all of which weaken performance in the bedroom. On the other hand, eating whole foods rich in antioxidants, healthy fats, and lean proteins improves circulation, balances hormones, and fuels energy. The blood vessels that carry oxygen and nutrients to your brain and muscles are the same ones responsible for erections. When your arteries are healthy and flexible, blood flows easily, giving you strength and endurance during sex. Every bite of food you eat is either building that foundation or slowly tearing it down, and the results always show up in intimacy sooner than most men expect. Sleep is another cornerstone of sexual health that is often underestimated. During deep sleep, the body produces the majority of its testosterone, repairs tissue, and restores energy reserves. When you sacrifice sleep, you aren't just making yourself tired, you're depriving your body of the very hormones and recovery it needs to function sexually. Men who consistently sleep less than 6 hours a night often experience lower libido, weaker erections, and less energy for intimacy. Quality sleep also sharpens mental clarity and mood, which are essential for confidence in the bedroom. A restless, stressed mind translates into a restless body, while a well-rested man brings energy, patience, and presence to his partner. The difference between poor sleep and great sleep can literally be the difference between feeling drained and disconnected or vibrant and fully engaged. Exercise ties everything together because it strengthens both body and mind. Regular cardiovascular activity improves circulation, ensuring that blood can reach the penis efficiently, while strength training boosts testosterone and increases endurance. Even simple daily movement like walking or stretching reduces stiffness, improves mood, and keeps energy levels high. A sedentary lifestyle, by contrast, weakens muscles, lowers stamina, and slows metabolism, all of which reduce sexual drive. Exercise doesn't just make you look better, it makes you feel better, and that confidence radiates in every intimate encounter. Wellness and sex are inseparable, and a man who consistently takes care of his body discovers that his sex life naturally follows with greater desire, performance, and satisfaction. Many men obsess over size as if it were the ultimate measure of sexual value, but the reality is that women care far more about the energy a man brings into intimacy. Desire is not only physical, it is emotional, psychological, and deeply tied to how present and alive you feel in the moment. A man with stamina, confidence, and vitality creates an experience that lingers far beyond the act itself. When your energy is high, your body responsive, and your presence undeniable, you give your partner something much more powerful than size. You give her the feeling of being fully desired and deeply connected. That sensation is what makes intimacy unforgettable and addictive, and it has nothing to do with inches. Energy is built on a foundation of health and self-care. When a man is sluggish, out of shape, or weighed down by stress, that heaviness translates directly into his sexual presence. Women notice when a man is distracted, when his breathing is shallow, or when he runs out of stamina too quickly. On the other hand, when you move with strength, breathe with depth, and carry yourself with vitality, your partner feels it instantly. Sexual energy is contagious. It ignites arousal in your partner because she senses your drive, your passion, and your ability to stay engaged. A man who cultivates this energy isn't just physically capable, he becomes magnetic, pulling his partner into the experience with him. Confidence amplifies this energy in ways that size never could. Women are far more aroused by a man who knows his own value, who isn't afraid to lead, and who isn't second guessing himself in the bedroom. Insecurity kills desire faster than anything else because it creates tension and disconnect. Confidence, however, allows a man to focus entirely on his partner, to listen to her body, and to give without fear of judgment. This presence turns average touch into electrifying touch because it's infused with certainty and passion. Women respond not to perfection, but to the way a man makes them feel safe, desired, and excited at the same time. Confidence cannot be faked. It is built through health, discipline, and the practice of being fully present in intimacy. Stamina and endurance complete the equation, giving energy as staying power. A man who can last, who doesn't rush, and who takes time to explore every part of the experience offers something that size alone could never provide. Endurance shows patience, self-control, and dedication to his partner's pleasure, creating a rhythm that allows her to fully surrender to the moment. This kind of energy builds anticipation, intensifies connection, and makes every climax more powerful. Women crave the man who can sustain desire, keep the energy alive, and adapt to her responses throughout. When you bring stamina, confidence, and vitality together, you become more than just a partner. You become an experience she wants again and again, one that transcends physical measurement and leaves a lasting mark on her mind and body.